All right.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Alright, so we need to talk about a couple of fucked up things at the moment. First of all, good news. The UK petition to call a general election to get rid of Starmer has broken 3 million votes, even though it's sort of kind of hidden in lists at the moment. But we cracked the 2 million, we're into the 3 million. Eat shit, Starmer, you dirty communist. In addition to that, the petition to call a complete halt to immigration has nearly reached 200,000 votes. So already both of these are like massive petitions, right? There is a fucked up part to all of this though, because those petitions have challenged authority so badly, and it's really put into perspective how populations and populists really don't like globalist policy or communist policy, especially communist, sort of centralized totalitarian policy. They've started the dirty fucking tricks to get around it and hide the numbers that are against them. In order to do this, on the UK petitions site, they have pulled a sneaky one, let's say. So, as mentioned before, the petition to call general election is now over 3 million votes. What they've done is they've hidden it into obscurity, basically, and they've created another petition that has a low amount of votes, and they've put that under the popular petitions tab to make it seem like it doesn't have the votes it has. What do I mean by that? I mean, when you click on the petitions website, the UK petitions website, and you have a look at it, it's now got, instead of where the petition was, it's got popular petitions. Under popular petitions, it's got the UK Call a General Election petition, but it was one of the earlier or later petitions that only got like 600 votes, as opposed to the 3 million vote one. If you want to see the 3 million vote one, you have to click on See All list, and once you click on the See All list, it'll pop up there. But the fact that the 600 or 700 or whatever it is vote petition to call a general election is there under popular petitions, and it's not the 3 million one, is very fucking deceptive. It's creating this illusion that calling a general election is not that popular, even though, you know, literally 3 million people do not like Starmer, do not like the direction of the country, do not like mass immigration, do not like communism, do not like centralised totalitarian government. They reject all of Starmer's policies outright, and he was basically elected under ignorance of who he was. But yeah, that's the current state of it. In addition to that, they've also tried to hide the popularity of the Stop All Immigration petition, which was at like 180,000 votes. It was like nearly 200,000 votes, and like that's already shit ton of votes. But they've hidden that one in the same manner, and they've got another less popular one. I think it's got like 666 votes. Yeah, and like even that seems a bit sus to me. That seems a little bit artificial. They're trying to create sort of like a associated guilt thing by putting the number of the beast there, to sort of imply by association it's evil. That one is also hidden. It's really got like 180,000 votes, but they've found a less popular either earlier or later petition that only had like 660 votes, and they've put that under the popular votes thing at the front. They've done this obviously to hide the petitions from people and to get people to sign the less popular ones, to artificially create this illusion that the petitions are not as big or as popular as they are. The fact that they're doing this just means you really can't trust the government. They are fucking deceptive cunts. That is fucking evil. Like, the corruption there alone is just fucking insane. That they're sort of trying to gerrymander and use their website in a deceitful way to take popularity away from a political position. Two conservative political positions that are quickly becoming populist and mainstream. It's really, really fucking bad, and that should be looked into. And yeah, and one of the other petitions that they had under popular petitions, even though it had nowhere near 180,000 or 200,000 votes, was a call to publicly fund pensioners' TV licenses. So pensioners don't have to pay money into the TV license. TV license funds are used to fund public broadcasts, which is also another way of saying state propaganda. So what that is under the guise of social benefit for the elderly, they're going to use more taxpayer funding to, without consent, pay for TV licenses for elderly people. Essentially taking public funds, taxpayer funds, out of the taxpayer fund pool and use it to fund the state propaganda. This must just be because, you know, In the UK, a lot of people are deciding not to renew their TV licenses and that sort of thing, just because they don't like the general state of the UK media, all the pedo allegations and pedos that have been caught at the BBC, etc. And just the general far left, leaning, corrupt, biased, collusive media. They just do not like all that shit. They don't like how the media ignores Islamic violence. They don't like how the media ignored the grooming gangs. They don't like how the media is used to shape popular opinion into shit leftist totalitarian policy. They don't like how the media is used to back all that shit. Back policy that uses taxpayer funds to pay for things that are like sort of left bias and sort of get used as scapegoats to siphon extra taxpayer money, just all that sort of shit, right? Like a poignant example would be it highlights all these nurses strikes and transport strikes and that sort of deal, even though those are public services. If they were private services, look, they'd probably be more efficient. The fact that the money is inflating is also the government's fault, we gotta say. We've got to just point that out. If the government was better at its job, the money would be holding its value a lot better. Instead, the government's completely failing, printing too much money, not getting the value out of the money, and everything's inflating as a result. And obviously all the infrastructure's fucked too. Like all the roads, especially in Australia, but I guess also in the UK, and that sort of thing. And look, I was a road worker for a while there. I was in traffic control and doing a bit of road work, so look, I've seen some dodgy shit, right? I've seen entire stretches of hundreds of meters long roads, and there's one little fucking 50-meter section that like gets saw cut out and then dug up and like relayed with fucking hot mix. And it's just one 50-meter section. It's usually in front of like a rich person's house or something. It's so fucking arbitrary and wasteful. It's not funny. That's not to say anything about the road crews or the people I work with. They were all good. They were all really good at their jobs. They weren't wasteful. They did their jobs in a quick and efficient manner. I'm not shit-talking them. What I am shit-talking is the government funds all of it. And it's just fucked. Instead of focusing on one area that's really worn out, they will just do a bunch of like little 50 to 100 meter stretches. In some instances, they don't need it. Like, I've driven to places out in the sticks that have shit roads the whole way there. Like, pothole to buggery roads the whole way there. We get there and we dig up, like, the good section of the road and we relay that section. Like, I've seen that shit happen, more times than I can count. And the whole thing's it's fucked. There's serious spending and taxpayer waste problems in the government at the moment. The fact that they're using media and now even the UK petitions site to create artificial popularity for political positions that waste more taxpayer funds, especially waste them on media. Like, let's face it, if the media was forced at the moment to compete in like a free and fair market, I think that shit would probably die overnight. Like, it's already dying really hard, but just because of social media sites, especially social media sites that don't, in their terms of service and community guidelines, censor shit horribly. Like, YouTube's really bad for censoring shit. Like, I've had guideline strikes for talking about studies to do with the jab. I'm not sure even how much more I can say about it than that, but yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous levels of communist censorship just on the controlled platforms like YouTube and stuff like that. X is a lot better under Elon Musk, but it's still not perfect. And then when all then you get all the bloody people that are like pro-centralized media control, let's say, all leaving X because X is sort of free speech, or freer speech, let's say. It still has some community guidelines and shit that aren't great. But they leave and then they go to Mastodon, and then immediately Mastodon has a massive pedophile problem, and then same thing sort of happens again. There's another exodus from Twitter. They leave, they all go to Blue Sky, and then Blue Sky has a massive pedophile problem. Are you seeing, like, I'm noticing a pattern? I'm noticing a pattern here. It's true I'm on the spectrum. Don't let that cloud your judgment of me. I'm noticing patterns here to do with certain things in the left. Certain series of events happening. Let's say. But yeah, anyway, back to Starmer. Starmer is literally going full communist. He is literally directly attacking property rights at the moment with the inheritance tax. The idea of literally taking people's private property inherited by family into generational wealth by farmers and attempting to just use the government to seize it. Like, that's all he's doing. That's communist to a T. The fact that the property he's seizing is used to create food should also be like a fucking massive concern. I don't know if you guys like know a lot of history or not. Kind of what the government did to the kulaks in like the Ukraine. They literally seized the farmland off the farmers. They put people in charge of the farmland that didn't know what they were fucking doing, didn't know how to grow food. And then a fucking massive famine happened. And like similar things happened in Maoist China. They just seized land from the landowners. They put people in charge, usually friends of the party, by the way, so it's not meritocratic, it's not fair, it's not equally distributed. It literally is like gangster favors. That's literally how it works. It's like gangster nepotism for who controls the party. And then there's massive famines. And to me it looks like Starmer is just doing exactly that. Exactly that. He is just taxing and taking property off of people who create food, and then the people who create the food won't be able to create the food anymore because of massive taxation. As a result, you'll either have massively increased food pricing or a famine. And in order to solve those problems, the solutions to both of those problems, especially from government point of view, are both bad as well. They will either price fix food, in which case you'll get shortages of food, and it's going to be a fucking horrible problem. There's going to be shortages, there's going to be starvation anyway. Or they will use public funds to buy and supply more food. As a result, they'll need to print more money. As a result, inflation will increase. As a result, everything will get more expensive. Because the value of the money decreases. Like, that's the policy he's chosen. And like 3 million people have seen that. And he is a communist. He used to write for like a communist paper or something. Everyone can see the direction this is going, and no one likes it, except for like, you know, university educated communists who don't actually know anything about communism or state control or markets or anything like that. And it's just so fucking bad. Like, the direction they're on has historically played out before, and it's ended in starvation. Like, the exact same direction that they're on. And like, you still get politicians pushing for that direction. I guess it offers more control to those specific politicians, but it's just a bad way to go. Like, the populist route would be better for everyone if you get, politicians competing for populist policy. Even that's not great, because you get a lot of borrowing and spending, so you end up with a lot of debt. Then you end up with more, printing money and that sort of shit anyway. Like, even that route's not great either, but at least that route has benefits for the population. The route that Starmer's on is literally just directly attacking property rights to seize property from people. That's just communist to a T. It's just thievery to a T. That's just the destruction of the West right there. Like, seizing property in crisis is something that China does. Like, when China hits like a brick wall with all their repayments and can't afford it and that sort of thing, what they usually do is they usually just scapegoat one of the richest people in that country and just put him in prison and seize all their assets. That's like a famous dictator thing to do. Like, in ancient Rome, that's what, I think it was Sulla? That's what Sulla and like Crassus used to do. They used to just like pick one dude, manufactured, crime, like charges and crimes against him, hold a kangaroo court, find him guilty on the kangaroo court, so it's not a jury of your peers. These days it's a little bit different. They would still be able to control the prosecution, control what evidence gets in, that sort of thing. Especially if you control the judge. I mean, it's sort of like what they've done with Alex Jones. But do that, find him guilty. The olden days they kind of would have shot him or just put him in a gulag. These days they kind of put them in prison, I guess. It doesn't matter because they seize all their assets after that, so they're just super poor. And then they use the assets to further the corrupt running of the state, and it just chews people up. And like, that seems to be the direction the UK's sort of going with this inheritance tax. Mind you, I've heard that the inheritance tax doesn't even pay for the social health care for like a day or something. I heard it was like really low. It's nearly not even worth doing. But like, that disgusting attack on property rights is still being done. It's fucking crazy. So it's just a direct attack on property rights and not even for much benefit. And like, that's the destruction of the West right there, is property rights. It's fucking insane. But yes, key takeaways. UK petitions website is hiding the 3 million people calling for a general election and the 180,000 people calling for a complete end to immigration. That's the key takeaways from this video.
Close one. back!